Would you be able to say in Hua Cheng's voice, I am forever your most devoted believer? What's up, guys? It's Kichter. Today, I am here with an incredibly special guest. I have James Cheek here, who does the English voice for Hua Cheng in the Heaven Officials Blessing dub. James, thank you so much for joining me.
Hello, Kichter. This is so fun to be here.
Those 800 years have been rough on him.
They have. Well, you know, he's got enemies. He's got few friends. You know, he just has Shelian. That's about it.
I asked my YouTube members for their best questions for you. Are you ready?
I'm here, so it doesn't matter, does it?
It's too late at this point.
It's too late. I can't run away.
Okay, so before being casted, did you have any prior knowledge to Heaven Officials Blessing?
No.
Not at all.
I will. Okay, let me weave you a tale of how ignorant I was in this show. So I heard about the show from one of the animators on the show. So I follow her name's Cami. I've never heard her last name pronounced. It's very intimidating. But let me I can't remember her Twitter handle. I'm doing a very bad job of plugging her, but she did the animated intro to season 2 of Critical Role.
Oh, cool.
If anyone wants to look that up. And so I followed her because of that, because I used to watch the show. And then when she's a key animator on the show, she key animated for episode 1 and episode 11, I think. And so when the show was coming out, she was just posting about it. And she was like, look, this my new thing, this is really cool. And I'm like, wow, this show's really pretty. And this show looks like really well done. This seems really cool. And so while I was thinking that, I also work at a production studio called Extra Terrible, where we specialize in mostly audio post, but we do a bunch of other different things, but we do ADR here. And we are under contract with a Chinese localization company called Hanzai, through them we have done video games, we've done shows and things like that. So I actually have worked on a handful of like donghua and Chinese video games even before this.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. And so I was like, oh, no one cares about donghua. I'll just see if we can't talk to this our company that we're under contract with and see if maybe we could get this show.
Oh my god.
No one cares. No one gives a shit about donghua. So that's like the beginning of all this. And so then we reach out, and then they're like, oh yeah, it sounds like a great idea. And then nothing. And then like 3 weeks later, or something around that time frame, Funimation announces that it has it. And so then and in the process of that, I was already, because I do writing and directing here as well. And so I was already in the mode of like, cool, I got to start researching like Shinsha tropes, and like I got to figure out how to adapt this also. And then Funimation's like, oh well, fuck, man. You know, so I only knew it as a show, and I only knew it as a show that this one person worked on. I had no fucking idea that it was based off of anything. I thought it was an original animated property.
Right. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And like to add to this multi-layered serendipitous event that brought me here, when I got the sides from Funimation, I was surprised because I was absolutely convinced that they weren't going to localize it, because again, no one cares about donghua. I thought it was something that they got in like a bundle of other shows from like a Japanese partner that helped make it or something. Like
yeah, totally.
You know, like I didn't even know I didn't have an understanding what Bilibili was at that time either. And we've actually produced stuff here at the studio that is now on Bilibili. So it's like this whole thing.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, so like I get the sides, and I was only able to watch the first 3 episodes of the show because I was really upset that I wasn't going to be able to work on the show. So I don't. And Sanlung doesn't show up until episode 4, so I don't know who the fuck this guy is.
Oh my god.
I don't know who he is. I don't know. I know jack shit.
Yeah.
I just remember I remembered Shilian. I remember Nanfang and the other attendant. You know, like just those guys.
Yeah.
And me as a person, I'm much more of a Shelian than I am a Hua Cheng. I'm like I don't understand how I got cast. right? To me. Uh, and so like I have the sides, and I'm like, cool. I'm pretty sure, like, if anything, I'm probably gonna get either one of the attendants, probably nothing, because this for those who don't know, this is my first lead character, and this is only my second named character in a show. So like, I don't
Wow.
have a pedigree really. I wasn't expecting anything. Um, so I was like, well, if anything, I'll probably get like either like some rando, or or whatever, or maybe Shillian if I'm lucky.
Mhm.
And so then I auditioned, and then a month later we got callbacks, which is not unheard of, but it is rare because of how quick ADR turnaround is.
Right.
And I got the callback for Hua Cheng, and the sides included Shillian, and I was like, you sure you don't want me? The guy, you sure you don't? Because I'm like, because Hua Cheng makes no sense to me. And they're like, no, we just want you for that one. And apparently it was Billy who asked for the callbacks. It wasn't the Funimation producers.
Oh, damn. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And so then I auditioned, and I was like, cool, I'll do some different stuff this time in the second, because I'll be bored if I have to do the same thing again and send it in.
Mhm.
And then after I sent in the second audition, that's when I finished the show. That's when I was like, okay, I've auditioned, I'm curious now. And then I watched the show, and I'm like, oh, I did everything wrong in that audition. I did things that he never does in the show.
Like what?
Oh, just I leaned into certain emotional cues a bit harder, and that's just not how it's performed in the show. A lot of that is nonverbal. A lot of that is like I leaned into some of the more awkward stuff that he does. Like how I interpreted one of the audition sides that came in was the scene in the sinner's pit, where he's just like, it's just like, oh, is it okay that I'm a ghost? Is it okay? I'm gonna kick some ass here in a second. Is it okay? And so I interpreted that as like a really like vulnerable, like shaky, like kid in his boots kind of a scene. That's not what's happening. That is a badass scene. That is him
Oh
just
my
like,
gosh.
hey, I'm gonna go Super Saiyan here in a second. You cool? All right.
You good, babe?
Yeah, it was like, just sit over there, babe. I got this. And so I was like, yeah, that's just all fucking wrong. This is just all wrong. So I was absolutely convinced I wasn't gonna get it. And then it was like a month later I got called in, and I got called in, and I got called in for a 45-minute session, which is, in my experience, because while I haven't had any name characters, I get called in probably like once a year to do like bit stuff for Funimation because I'm local.
Mhm.
And so like 45 minutes is a weird time frame, because it's too long for a bit part, but it's not long enough for a character of significance. So I thought I was like, at most, I thought I was going to be like Pi Jr. when he was disguised as himself in like the desert or something. Like I thought it was going to be something like that. And then I show in, and I'm like, oh, Wendy Lee. Oh, that's Faye Valentine. That's so cool. I'm like, Howard went, oh, I know of Howard. I know him personally, but like Soundcades is cool. And I see me, they sit next to my name to Hua Cheng, and I have to like grab onto something and be like, nah, this isn't real. This isn't real. This isn't real. This isn't
Oh my
real.
God.
And then I just gushed for like 20 minutes while I was just being like, oh my God, you don't understand. I have a history with the show. This is so weird.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So powerfully ignorant, I think, is the way that I would describe that. Is just, no, I have no idea. Didn't even know it was a book series until the cast announcement.
Oh, wow.
Because even Jerry Jewell, the director, was like, the people who are really going to be paying attention to the show are the people who read it. And I'm like, is there a comic? Is it a manhwa? Oh, it was an original animated series. Didn't know it was a book series because Seven Seas didn't announce that they were releasing the English stuff until I think after the cast announcement.
Yeah.
And then people were bugging me about, how did it say Gaga? What was going on?
Yeah.
And I had a fun time trolling people over that. That was quite enjoyable.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so I know fuck all. Is basically what it is. I know fuck all, and I don't know why I'm here.
Well, me personally, I think in perhaps watching that moment, Hua Cheng might seem like he is badass, but he does have this deep insecurity when he's with Shilian. So I think
Yeah.
that really works out.
Yeah, well, like in hindsight and having learned more about the character, I'm like, oh, okay, this guy is a guy of immense confidence. Like he is supremely confident in a lot of what he does. But when Shilian comes around, he immediately reverts back to that kid. And so like that's just, and so even though he's like, even though like both things are true, simultaneously, where it's like, yeah, no, he's a badass, and like he's supremely confident, he's lived his own life, like he's not codependent or anything. But as soon as this tiny little guy in white shows up with a scarf, he's just like, hey, what's going on? You're cute. I'm gonna build you a door.
Oh my God. And I'm a little curious about the process. So when you get the sides and it says it's for San Long or whatever, are you given any like this what he's supposed to sound like? Are you given any direction?
You're given it depends on the person who's developing the sides. So some sides will have like a vocal reference, or they'll have like a description of the voice and stuff like that. Or they'll have like think, Clint Eastwood or some other thing.
Oh, okay.
But some sides will just have a character description and like maybe an age range, and that's it.
Okay.
And it just kind of varies on, I guess, like how specific of a sound they're looking for in terms of the audition. Because like the risk you run when being too specific in what you're asking for is you just get a bunch of people trying to mimic that one thing, and you don't get a bunch of different or interesting takes, or you don't get anything that's kind of nuanced. It's just like a repetition of something that you described in the sides.
Right.
But then again, if you're too vague, then you end up getting a bunch of just wildly inaccurate assumptions as to what the scenes are. And so it's a balancing act. But I think for Hua Cheng, it was just a character description.
Okay.
I think the thing I keyed in on is that he had romantic feelings for Shelian. So I was just like, oh, okay, so he's a guy with a crush. Cool.
Gotcha. Yeah. And I think that comes across very strongly in your voice.
Oh, well, like, I mean, like after watching the show, I was like, oh, he's just a simp. Okay.
Yeah, he's the simp king. That's what
he's just the simp king. That's all right. Cool. I mean, like, and I've made fun of him multiple times in the booth. I'm just like, you goddamn simp. Big ol' simp.
Yes. And going into the next question, I think the fandom loves to make fun of Hua Cheng. And I want to know, how much are you aware of the fandom?
Again, wildly ignorant. I've had some interaction with it because people have like reached out to me and have just been like, hey, like, good job and all that other stuff. And then I've had people be like, no, you don't understand, this is huge. Like,
yeah.
Oh, it's so big. I think some person described him as like he's like the embodiment of the ideal male or something.
Yeah.
What? What? Okay. So no, I'm not super keyed in on the fan base, but I think that's for the best, because fan stuff is for the fans. I'm on the production end of things, and so my relationship to the show is not going to be congruent with a fan's relationship with the show. And so while it's not that we're disrespectful to the fans or we're not inattentive or anything, but like my job does not involve that conversation.
Yeah,
so
totally.
I'm not hunting it down. I will say my day job is a bit boring, and sometimes I will like Twitter stalk someone who's followed me and be like, what are you involved in?
I have seen you lean into a few memes on Twitter.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's one out in response to episode 5 that I'm thinking of ways to respond to. But yeah, no, it's just something that like I'll have a dalliance every now and again, but I'm not hunting anything down. I'm not trying to invest in it or anything.
Gotcha. And so we first connected on Twitter, and you said that you were aware of my channel. So I'm very curious how that came about.
Well, for those who are keeping up with the dub, you know that Funimation has decided to translate Gaga into Shilian. And that's the way it's going to go. That's the way it's going to be. I apologize for any hearts broken or minds shattered. But that's just kind of what it is. And it was, to say it was a pragmatic decision is probably the most accurate. It's, it functions in terms of flaps, it gets the point across, and it gives me enough nuance with what I'm saying to still translate that intimacy that Gaga carries, without having to say, bro,
Oh my-
bro Cephas, or Nissan or some shit like that.
yeah.
So when I was recording, and when I realized, when we got to episode 5 while we were recording, I was like, oh, I'm gonna be saying his name a lot. And so we have vocal references for all the different Chinese words that remained untranslated, either from the producers, from Bilibili, or from actors who come in who do speak Mandarin and are able to pronounce them correctly. Like, thank God for Howard. Just thank God for Howard. Not only is he a phenomenal foundation of the show, like the show would not be, I don't think anyone would enjoy me as much as if Howard was not just fucking killing it right now. But also the fact that he speaks Mandarin is so helpful. And so I'll have vocal references for certain things, but depending on when I'm recording, I'm not always, like, sometimes I'm the first one in, depending on the time of the week. And so I don't have an actor reference, and then we'd have to, like, either spend time hunting down a vocal reference from the producers or whatever. So I was like, cool, I need to practice this name so that I can be comfortable with it, and I can give it the nuance that it needs in whatever scene that we're doing. So I was hunting down scenes from the show where Shilian says his name, or someone says Shilian, and I was just going to make a compilation and just have it, like, in my head so I have the sound. And rather than people clipping, like, the ox cart scene or something like that, YouTube directed me to you and Ty the Canadian's collab, where you guys were talking about the double meanings of all the different names.
Oh my
And I was like,
gosh.
oh, Ty, okay, he speaks Mandarin. Cool, I'll just listen to him.
Yes, absolutely.
So I just pulled Ty's, this is just him saying Shilian a bunch of different times. And then that was what I used to practice his name. So that's how I found out about you. And then YouTube just decided that I really was invested in your channel, and now sends me your videos all the time.
Oh my God.
So like I'll just be like trying to find, like, the next Game Grumps episode or something, and then you'll just, like, Kichter responds to episode 4, and I was like, oh, this will be fun.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness.
So that's how I found out about your YouTube channel. Was I was just trying to do my job, and then you ended up helping me with it.
It was against your will.
Yeah. Well, YouTube has decided that, like, this is a bond that cannot be broken, apparently. So, like, I didn't understand I was a consenting partner to this.
Oh my God. Well, I'm sorry for being bombarding you with it, but it does happen to be my favorite thing in the whole world.
Yeah, well, I just, don't blame me, blame YouTube. Like, that's just because you're not doing it, it's YouTube.
Yeah, that's so funny though. I just made my video to the reaction of episode 5, and honestly, everyone loves that it was Shilian because of how you said it. And, like, I went on this whole rant about how I loved it, and I was like, the way he says Shilian is better than any plain old Gaga, because it's, like, so much reverence and care is in that word, and it just sounds so good.
Yeah, and that's kind of the goal, really, is just, like, if we're gonna replace a beloved, like, pet name in a show, then I have to give whatever thing that we replace it with the same level, if not more, emotional context.
Yes,
and
1000%.
Yeah, so I'm just like, cool, okay, so I just gotta say it like I'm flirting with him all the time. All right, that's fine.
And we're loving it.
Yeah.
So I've got to ask, how does it feel playing such a fan favorite character? Like, now that you do know there is a fan base and huge people thirsting over Hua Cheng.
Weird. Like, it's super weird. Me and Sexy have never really been in the same room before. So to see like the ravenous reactions to me putting on my pretty boy voice, and like flirting with someone, like, silently in a booth, like, it's weird. It's something that I have difficulty wrapping my head around. Because it's just like, I think that my favorite comment that I've seen which I don't know if it was well, there's a handful, but one of them was I don't know how to react to it. It was like, he sounds so dilfy. What?
Oh my God.
Okay.
You are now.
I guess I am. I guess I'm Hua Dilf Daddy. I don't know.
1000%. Oh my God. The response to your voice has been incredible. Everyone is
Yeah.
in a collective thirst.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm glad that people are happy. It's weird for me. Like it is a bizarre experience.
Totally.
One of the reasons why I keep a healthy distance from that, that gaggle of love over there, is because it's just so weird.
Yeah. No, I can understand that. So away from the fandom and just your own interpretations, what is your thoughts on Hua Cheng as a character?
So something that weirdly enough helped me key into the character, was the first session that we did. One was just kind of how, because I never really paid attention to that monologue at the end of the first episode. And even then, I think it was in the script, it was listed as like a narrator. It wasn't listed as Hua Cheng. But or no, it was listed as Shelian, for whatever reason. And Jerry, in his infinite wisdom, is like, it's weird if Howard's talking about himself here, so we're gonna have you do it. And then if the producers don't like it, then we'll have Howard come in. So like Howard had already recorded everything, and so then I came in and I did it. And I was reading it. I'm like, oh, he's just gushing about his boyfriend. Okay, that's just all right. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna gush about my boyfriend here.
Yes.
And so that was a big sort of, that was like, oh, okay, he's just like, not only is he a big old simp, but he's just a big softie, like when it comes to this guy specifically. But then the other thing that kind of helped key into the character was that I messed up a line. I flubbed a line. And I think Emperor was the line, and I kind of just did it a mush mouth thing, just like Emperor. And so then Jerry and I immediately went into impressions of the priest from A Princess Bride. If you've ever seen that film.
Yeah.
So marriage is what we are here for tonight. Just like that whole thing. And so we did that for like 5 minutes, and I was reading some of the, just like he killed the demon on the yin yang bridge.
Oh my God.
And well, it's marriage. That's but anyway, so then like after I kind of calmed down, because I screamed like a fangirl when I, as soon as I left the building, I was like, ah! As I calmed down and I was kind of like just contemplating, I was really like, oh, this guy really, like, the closest equivalent for me personally would be Wesley, would be that classic sort of romantic swashbuckling hero. And in fact, I kind of appreciate Hua Cheng a bit more because he doesn't gaslight Shilian. And so so I was like, hey, so not only do I get to play Wesley, but I get to play a better Wesley. I get to play Wesley who respects his love interest. Not hitting on not like shitting on Wesley. That movie was fucking amazing. That scene is problematic, but they talk about it and then he gets tortured later and he dies. It's fine. But yeah, so like that's been sort of like the archetype that I've been playing with, is just that very classic romantic swashbuckling hero. And that's been apparently doing really well.
Yeah, I'd say so.
So it is he is a lot of fun to play, mostly because I get to be the sass monster in the room, and everyone else has to play it straight, and I get to like put stank on lines and stuff when no one else can.
Totally.
So that's fun.
That's awesome. And I gotta ask, what is your thoughts on the romance between Hua Cheng and Shilian?
Oh, it's adorable. Like it's just so cute. I think it's funny because how I've been playing him seems to be like, or at least some of the nuance seems to be incongruent with some of like the things I've seen on like wikis of just describing him. He's like, he's a powerfully insecure person. I'm like, no, he's not. This guy's a badass. This guy's the Ghost King. He's the most powerful of his group. He doesn't give a fuck about anybody else. He got there all on his own. Like the in the trailer of season 2, he's fucking like female gaze sitting in a throne. Like he is not insecure.
Oh my God.
But when it comes to Shilian, like it gets him off tilt. And so like how I kind of came to understand that was just like, yeah, here's this guy who has been in a one-sided love for most of his life, and but not a codependent love, not an obsessive love. I think a genuine, true, like respect and admiration kind of a thing. um and so he's gone off, he's lived his life, he's done his thing, but he's always carried this torch, and now he finally gets to act on it. And so he's coming in like full not full regalia, because like I don't like, I think Sanlong is more of just like dressed down so that he won't get Shilian in trouble kind of a thing, because he has a reputation.
Yeah.
So he's not full regalia, but he is coming in and he is just sort of being himself around this guy. But as soon as he gets feelings reciprocated, he has no idea what he's doing. He's just like, oh God, don't touch me.
Yeah. Oh my God, yes.
Like when he grabs his hand, because like I love it when he grabs his hand in the ox cart, because this whole time I've just been laying it on thick, and as soon as they touch, he's like, fuck. Oh God.
Oh my God. I died. Well, I watched it last night and it freaking killed me. I fell out of my chair.
Yeah, no, that was an adorable little moment. That was also another sort of like insight into it. It was like, oh, okay, so like he is all these things, but this one guy gets under his skin, and it's not a bad thing. It's just a thing he doesn't know what to do with yet.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And so, do you know what happens like later on in the
No,
series? Or in the
I don't know. I don't know
Oh.
anything beyond the first season.
Okay.
I do intend on I was debating on if I was going to read the books as they came out, because like, because you can over prepare for something and like kind of lose like a surprise or a reveal or something that might be a really cool, genuine moment if it just happens in the booth.
Yeah.
But like Hua Cheng's job for the most part is just to be hot and know things. So so like reading ahead is not going to I don't think is going to really ruin anything for me, because even if there are surprises or reveals later, Hua Cheng at the very least is going to handle them with grace and confidence. So I don't think he's ever going to be, unless like Shilian kisses him or something like that, then he's going to be like, oh God. But, I don't think I'm going to be risking losing anything in the performance if I'm going to read them. So I do have ADHD, so I don't know if I can get through them, because reading and ADHD is a whole thing. But unless, I don't know, someone could convince 7 Seas for me to do the audiobook if they so desire.
Oh my God, I will start the petition right now.
And I am 1,000% down. I would love to just like manifest that, just be like,
yes.
Yeah, no, I'll just read this, like, like the guy who's just in love with the main character.
Yes. That would be incredible.
But no, I know very little. I think I did see an animatic of I think the coffin scene. And so I don't know how much of that is in the book and how much of that is like interpretation.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think that's like the only thing I've seen beyond the first season.
Cool. Oh, well, I'm very excited for you to learn more. What was your favorite episode to voice?
Well, we're still working on the show, so I can't, in all honesty, say which episode is my favorite, because I haven't done them all yet. I am looking forward to episode 12, where it's just another conversation between him and Shilian. But I think I have to say my favorite line that I have said so far has been in episode 5, where he just leans in and is like, what would be ideal? I laughed out loud in the booth when I read that line. I was like, cool, this is where we are. All right.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know who wrote that episode. I don't know if it was the lead writer, Clint, or if it was someone else who's working on the show. But like whoever did that, I'm just like, yeah, good on you.
That was
I had fun.
So over the top flirtatious of a line for him to say. It was quite bold.
Like his first goddamn reaction is like, what would he look like? What do you want me to be? It's like, yeah, like that's why like you can't be insecure and talk to someone like that. Like you just can't.
That's what makes him so great.
Yeah, so he's just like, no, like this guy's supremely confident.
Are there any challenges in voicing Hua Cheng, or you said you actually do have experience with voicing donghua?
Yeah.
People were very interested if there's a difference between like Chinese and Japanese.
So as far as my capacity as an actor, no. Acting to flaps is pretty much kind of like a universal, very technical skill. It's mostly about timing, but it doesn't translate. There's not a lot of difference between doing ADR for like live action German or something like that versus ADR for an anime or something like that. It's all just kind of the same thing. The differences and the difficulties arise in adapting the script, which is something that I've done for donghua, where like adapting for Japanese is a little bit easier because of just how the animation style and the language works. You can get away with a lot more. I think the big thing that you got to worry about with Japanese is that because every syllable ends with a vowel sound in the language, or for the most part, a lot of lines or a lot of like scenes will end with someone with like an open mouth flap, and so you've got to like, okay, cool. Do I put like a vowel here? Like, do I figure out a word with a vowel here, or do we just put a noise there? Or like, what the fuck are we doing with this open flap? With donghua, the Chinese language, like or Mandarin, is just so complicated, and the mouth formations that it makes are so specific to that language, that like that it's just, that's really the hardest thing, is trying to figure out what words work here with the animation. That also does the job of translating the story that this is trying to tell. You know, and the higher quality of animation, the more attention they'll pay to mouth flaps. And so like, you know, so like you'll get stuck with like this very specific way of saying something, this very specific mouth flap, that like every word that you need to end this sentence does not make that shape. And so you're just like, what do I do? I actually had through Extra Terrible, we ended up partnering with an independent animation studio called Studio Tumble. I recommend everybody check them out. They are absolutely goddamn phenomenal. They've done work for Riot Games. They did the 2D animation for, I think it was like the Blade of Kin or Blood of Kin and short that they did. And then they've done like stuff with like music videos for them and stuff. But they have a short film called A Bedtime Tale. And I was going back and forth with the director of that on the English script that I was working on, because he was like, it says this. I'm like, I know it says this, and I really want it to say that, but that's not what the animation shows. I'm doing my best.
Yeah.
Doing my best here. And so like we ended up compromising, and it created a stronger script. It's actually really wonderful. I suggest everyone go watch it. It's on the Extra Terrible YouTube channel. And as well as our website. You can also go to Studio Tumble's YouTube page and see it in Chinese and see it in Mandarin.
Awesome.
But yeah, so like that's the harder thing, is just trying to fit English into the framework of a Mandarin spoken animated thing, rather than my job as an actor. Because my job as an actor is to trust the writer in that he or she or they wrote something that fits into the scene that I'm doing, so I don't have to worry, and I trust the director in that I'm giving the performance that I need to do that. And then that's kind of it. That's just what my two main things are, is just like make everybody's job easier, trust the writer, trust the director.
Right. Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, I think this is the thing everybody had requested the most from me to ask you.
Oh God. Okay.
Would you be able to say in Hua Cheng's voice, "I am forever your most devoted believer"?
I mean, hold on. Let me write it out or pull up like a script or something so I don't mess up the wording. All right. Are you ready?
Yes.
Are you ready? Guga, I am forever your most devoted believer.
We even got the Gaga in there.
Yeah,
oh my god. James, thank you so freaking much for doing
You're
this.
welcome.
This is seriously absolutely incredible. How can we follow you online?
Yes, you can follow me on Twitter at maybe James Cheek. I also have a podcast that I do with my younger brother called the Guys and Dolls Podcast, or GAD Podcast, where he and I are going through the entire Barbie movie catalog and reviewing it and tearing them to bits and or creating maybe wild conspiracies about these films. I suggest you check that out. You can also find other work that I've done through Extra Terrible. Like I said, you can check out our YouTube page. We're also on Newgrounds and the Extra Terrible website. Not only do we produce ADR and things like that, like I really would love if just people, like more people, saw the 2 short films that we produced, A Bedtime Tale from Studio Tumble and False Memory from Flint Sugar. Both of them are phenomenal studios, and they've produced some amazing work, and it just needs to be seen by more people. So check those out. I highly recommend those. And we also did a short called Star Burglar from a French expat living in Japan working in anime called Claire Lunet, and that's also really fun. It's on our YouTube. But if anyone's interested in learning ADR and either maybe just like trying it out, see how it might work, or if you're trying to actually get into voice acting, we do educational stuff here at Extra Terrible. We have classes and coaching and a mentorship program right now. So if anyone's interested in that, you can go to our website. You can check stuff out there.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Seriously, like from the bottom of my heart, this is the coolest thing that I could have ever done. So
Well,
thank you.
And thank you for helping me do my job. So.
Of course.